Good evening to all. This is K.R. Jagannath, a scout master and a trainer. Would like to brief about the campfire yarn number 2 of Scouting for Boys, written by Lord Baden-Powell, in which he mentioned what scouts can do. They can live in the open, they can go on a woodcraft trial, they can be chivalry, they can save the life, they can be endurant, and they can love their country. While going through the yarn number 2, specifically, he has mentioned a story about the Elson murder, the story which tells the duties of a Boy Scout. Long, long ago, a brutal murder took place in the north of England. The murderer was caught and convicted and hanged chiefly through the scoutcraft of a shepherd boy. The boy Robert Hindmarsh had been up on the moor tending his sheep and was finding his way home ever a while out of the way part of hills, when he passed a tramp sitting on the ground with his legs stretched out in front of him, eating some food. The boy, in passing, noticed the tramp's appearance and especially the peculiar nails and the soles of his boots. He did not stop and stare, but just took in these details at a glance as he went by without attracting much attention from the man, who merely regarded him as an ordinary boy. When the boy got near home, some 5 or 6 miles away, he came to a crowd round a cottage. The old woman, Margaret Crozier, who inhabited, had been found murdered. Robert Hindmarsh, the boy, noticed the appearance of the tramp without attracting much of attention from the man. All sorts of guesses were made about who had done the deed. Suspicion seemed to center on a small gang of 3 or 4 tramps who were going about the country, robbing and threatening death to anyone who made and report of their misdeeds. The boy had all these things. Then he noticed some peculiar footprints in the little garden of cottage. The nail marks agreed with those he had seen in the boots of a man on the moor, and he naturally deduced that the man might have something to do with the murder. The fact that it was helpless old man who had been murdered made the boy's chivalrous feeling rise against the murderer, whoever he might be. So, although he knew that the friends of the murderer might kill him for giving information, in cast his fear aside, he went at once to the constable and told him of the footmark in the garden and where he could find the man who made them, if he went immediately. The man upon the moor had got so far from the scene of the murder, unseen except by the boy, being able to walk all the way to the scene of the murder and then come back, as he did with the police. So he took no precaution. But the boy was strong, healthy hill boy, and did the journey rapidly and well, so that they found the man and captured him without difficulty. The man was Willie Winter, a gypsy. He was tried, found guilty, and hanged at Newcastle. His body was then brought and hung on a gibbet near the scene of the murder, as was the custom in those days. 2 of the gypsies, who were his accomplices, were caught with some of the stolen property and were also executed at Newcastle. But when the boy saw the murderer's body hanging there on the gibbet, he was overcome with misery at having caused the death of a fellow creature. However, the magistrate sent for him and complimented him on the great good he had done to his fellow countrymen, probably saving some of their lives by riding the world such dangerous criminal. You have done your duty, although it caused you personally some danger and much distress. Still, you must not mind that. It was your duty to help the police in getting justice done, and duty must always be carried out, regardless how much it costs you, even if you have to give up your life. Thus, the boy did every part of the duty of a Boy Scout. Observation without being noticed, deduction, chivalry, sense of duty, endurance, kind heartedness. He little thought the act which he did entirely of his own accord would years afterward be held up as an example to other boys in teaching to do their duty. In the same way, all the scouts should remember that your acts may be watched by others after you taken as an example. So try to do your duty the right way on all occasions. While going through this story, Baden Powell could mention certain things which are to be observed as a scout, as following a tracking sign of woodcraft, keen observation, and a concealment, and how to deduct and the deduction analysis as a detective, and how to be a strengthy and health and strength, how to maintain the health and strength, and how to be kind hearted, and how to save a life, and what is the duty of the boy, and how to be an example for all others. This was a narrated story in the Scouting for Boys, the Elson murder. The story, which in the main is true, illustrates generally the duties of a Boy Scout. Thank you.